Okay, friends. All right. So, now the reason I want to bring people to the YouTube is because, hi. So, apparently, we're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, let me know if you can hear me. Now, the reason I want to separate the Facebook from YouTube is because I want the YouTube to be a safe space to talk about mental health. And I do it occasionally on Facebook, but yes, I really want to reach a lot of people. It's different people use different platforms to connect with people. So, yay, Mr. Jones, high five. Hey, Tony. So, I am gonna jump on my live YouTube and stay there because I'm ADHD. Don't really do two things really well all at once, all that well. So, all right. So, click on somewhere on my page on the YouTube, and you should see me live. Say hello. And I got a lot of cool stuff that I want to cover in a short few minutes. Because, to be quite blunt, my darling hubby is getting groceries right now, and he'll want some help when he gets back. So, see you on YouTube. Finish. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, friends.
There. Goody. Okay. How are you tonight, Mr. Jones? I'm going to sign in so I can say hi. Thank you. Thank you. I will. I will have a great time doing this. All right. So let's get started. I have some juicy stuff to work out with you. Not work out. I'm already showered. We're not going to do that. But work your brain to learn new skills in these times. So, mental health is really important right now. And I feel like I can really help you because I am a bipolar survivor. So, I also have ADHD. A lot of people with mental illnesses will have dual diagnosis. But I feel like I'm hearing my friends, my family, and everything experiencing experiencing a lot of similar things that people with, say, bipolar or schizophrenia, or, you know, there's some symptoms that we go through, those of us who have mental illnesses, that our brain chemicals are not what they should be, and we need help, like a diabetic's pancreas does not create enough insulin, and so they have to take medicine for that. I have a brain disorder. It's a disability, and so I can't do some things that other people can do. You may not think that of me, but if you hang out on my YouTube with me long enough, you'll come to know. So, I am going to, first of all, answer my friend's question. So the question is, do I think there should be improvements on mental health in our city? I do. I do in the entire world. I think that I think I have a really different way of getting patients to think differently. I actually had the privilege of teaching a course this winter out of a book called Bipolar Not So Much by Dr. Chris Aiken and Dr. James Phelps. And I will refer to that book a lot. First of all, because I'm not a doctor, but that book was referred to me by my doctor, Dr. Giuseppe Gaiana, who I love. He's the head of psychiatry in St. Thomas. I didn't ask. I didn't know I was getting the head of psychiatry. Like, I have no special connections. It just happened to be that way. And he's awesome. I think what I want to say is, first of all, no matter what you're going through, you need to be part of the solution. So if you're a patient, say you have anxiety, you can't, in my strong opinion, and my opinions are mine, I am here as peer support. I do have a little bit of background. I'm a social service worker grad from Fanshawe College in London, Ontario, and I'm also a trained healthcare aide from Fanshawe, which again does not make me a doctor, but I have some background. Yes, he is a good doctor. So if what I want you to do as a patient, whether you have anxiety right now because of what you're going through, you can't sleep, you're worried, you lost your job, like here's some of the things that I've been affected by COVID. My 18-year-old daughter, I haven't seen her in 2 months. She lives around the corner. Like, Joe is our mayor, my partner. We are really sticking to the rules. I have not seen my mom and dad. They also live around the corner. And so that's just some of the ways it's affected me. I call my family members and they sound really down because it's hard to not be near each other. And so it's really important, if you have a mental illness, whether it be due as a result of an experience of something such as COVID-19, or if you have a brain disorder that you have been diagnosed with an illness. My 2020 opinion is we have a responsibility. I used to think that sorry, that's the symptom of bipolar, just gone second, and then it comes back to me as like whoosh, comes back. And that's the kind of stuff I'm going to educate you about. It's not all about I'm crying my eyes out and I just don't want to live. It's sometimes just stutter and that sort of thing. But you have a responsibility to communicate to your doctor. And you have a responsibility to grow your self-awareness. Okay? So self-awareness is like, there's two extremes. There's disassociating. So disassociation is something that some people can be doing right now, which is just complete denial. Like, there's nothing going wrong. Or that's how your brain deals with it. You just check out. And, the people that you live with are really being affected by the fact that you just are going numb, because that's how you're coping. So disassociation is just like almost like an out of body experience. I remember being 19, and because of some difficult stuff I went through on top of having an illness, I disconnected from myself, and I had to quit school that year. So stability. Mr. Jones is saying I'm keeping some anonymity. I can't say that word. I will try to protect you if you do not want anyone to know who you are. This is a place of safe ground. That's what I want it to be. So your opinion is that you cannot heal in the place that you have been wounded mentally, physically, socially, etc. Well, that's a nice segue to take into what I wanted to talk about. It's kind of a big mess over here. You can't see it, but I've got like books piled up and stuff. So there's some truth to what you're saying. But like, you're going to find me comical sometimes, and sometimes like the bipolar brain is super creative, and I used to think I was dumb until I met Joe, quite frankly, 4 years ago, when he helped me realize I was smart, because we don't think like other people. And so here's my 2 cents. I think I don't know what fish it is. It's just not coming. There's a fish that can, if something gets cut off, it can grow back a leg or an arm. And I want to think of, thanks, Mr. Jones. I want to think of the crap I've been through. It has made me who I am. So like, if I wasn't, thought of in high school as weird and strange and not being able to, like, I don't know how to talk to her, like, it's because I was smart. Because of the way they treated me, I decided I was dumb. So I was ahead of my time, and no one could relate to me. So as far as answering your question, I actually think we can heal. We can agree to disagree. And what I mean is that, okay, so something I've been teaching here, I'm going to sound like a broken record, is about anxiety and how to retrain your brain. So science is proven. You can look it up. Bad on me. I'm a girl of facts and stats, because I went to college and that's all they made us do. And so the science is showing that, okay, so I go into a grocery store and I associate all those people in that store as scary. And what are they thinking? And I'm taking some really great medication, and I've worked really hard physically on exercise, which increases your endorphins in your brain. And so I'm having less, like almost no paranoia. So if you're having insane anxiety, you have to keep doing something. It's like, when I was riding my bike and I had training wheels, right? Like, you just have to keep getting on the bike and getting on the bike and getting on the bike, and you start to feel like you're getting the balance. And then you say, I think I can take off the training wheels. So, healing from stuff that cripples you, that you can't live a full life. It is just like growing a new arm. You're the fish. It gets lopped off. You can work on growing it back. So science has said that if we do something differently, we can actually grow new neural pathways in our brain. So let's say, the Red Riding Hood always ran into the big bad wolf. Well, then she one day goes, I'm going to go down this path because I've figured it out that the big bad wolf is there. So your brain will learn new neural pathways, grow new neural pathways, and you'll start to be able to look at things differently. Now, here's another fact. When I smile at you, your brain goes, I like that person. So they have proven that smiling will also change the chemicals in your brain. So these are little things that you can do. It feels completely opposite of what you feel like. Now, I'm not talking about when I'm in the middle of a panic attack. I'm just talking about trying to retrain your brain. So I guess, so Mr. Jones, yes, so I am, so we add substance abuse, social status, locations, friends, family, different triggers. This can affect even the best of us. So yes, I would agree with you. So there comes self-awareness. If you are self-aware, then you can prepare yourself. So practice makes permanent, not perfect, to me, permanent. So if I was going to a family function, I'd always have a little flutter of anxiety. But while I'm at the function, if something triggers me, I know my triggers. So you really have to do some soul searching and figure out what your triggers are. And then you don't let them take away from your life. You work on how to be. For me, I mean, think of how public of a person my husband is, the mayor. I want to support him and go out with him, and it has not been easy to go out in public and be at social events, but I have forced myself to do it. And it took literally a year and a half of, kind of like someone says, the water's warm, you don't trust it, and then eventually you start dipping your toe in, and you become climatized. In my opinion and in my experience, you become climatized to, okay, I'm at the grocery store. I don't have to be terrified because no one's going to hurt me. I've been doing this now for a year. I've been practicing this for a year. And one day you realize you're in the lettuce section and you're not seeing black spots because your anxiety is so intense, because that's what was happening to me. I was even having symptoms of angina where my heart would pound, and I actually felt like I was having a heart attack. It only happened a couple of times. It was very scary. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital, and then I just identified that it was a panic attack. So, yeah, so I mean, I guess we disagree, Mr. Jones, because here's here's what I wanted to do some teaching. So this is straight from the hospital. I went through an 8-week course on anxiety riding the wave. And so MBCT, so this is the course I took. And so, so this is your answer to your question. What do you do when your triggers arise? So the mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, or MBCT, is focused on new ways of being with stressful situations. So instead of me running away, the psychiatric nurses at our hospital, they advise us of this. You recognize the negative thoughts, but focus on paying attention to the present. So let them pass. Now, this was like, that sounds really dumb, because that's not what I was taught. Like, that's not. So this is a whole new way. And at first I thought it was just not right. But if you can be, for me it was the grocery store. If you can be in the middle of the grocery store and the lights and all the people and all the stimulus, that was a lot for my brain. It's good to take a step back, regroup. Like, that could be a go get a drink of water to reset. So you recognize them and you let them pass. When noticing thoughts and accepting them, they lose their power. So, and letting negative thoughts drift through your mind without judgment or attachment. So, I like to say, as I said, I do have some background education in social work, and I've always said to people, noticing thoughts and accepting them. Okay, it's what you make them mean. Here's an example. So you go to a get-together and you see your friend and you go to walk towards them because you're happy to see them. But she or he looks at you and it's not a good look and just walks away. And so here's the interpretation I automatically am going to admit I would think. She's mad at me. She doesn't like me. I did something. All these negative stories. But what if I'm so close to that friend that I remind her of the fun times we had with her and her mom? And her mom just passed away. She just got the phone call and she didn't want to break down in front of everybody else, so she walked away. Right? So I made it all about something I did. I made up a story without fact. So Dr. Guyana says to me, thoughts aren't facts. So that's how I personally deal with my triggers. Because if I can notice them and accept them, I find a lot of times, because of the crap I've been through and because of my bipolar, I have a lot of stories I used to make up. And now I go, is that a thought or is that a fact? So without even talking to my friend, is it a fact that she doesn't like me, that she's mad at me, that I did something? No, because I don't know. I don't know until I know. And so that's just a good example. I like to say in my training, It's the stories we tell ourselves. So here's something I've been sharing with a lot of my friends lately who are not bipolar. I say, okay, here's a good one. A thought is not a fact. You, as I said, you see your friend at a party, you're like so happy to see her or him, you walk up to them, they walk away, and you make up all these stories, and you leave the party, which is what I would do, and go home and go through all these stages of what's her problem? Like, geez, like she talked to me earlier the day and said that we were gonna hang out and just walked away from me. Like, what a jerk. And so that's not healthy. So don't make a story a fact. That's just some good advice. You can breathe through your reactions. So something that happens to me hasn't happened in a long time, but for some reason last week I had a panic attack. And the only way I know I'm having them because there's a girl on TikTok. She's young, she's beautiful, and she has autism. And I really relate to her. I'm not saying that autism and bipolar are the same. I'm just telling you my own story. And she said something that masking, where she says it's like this: you're an alien, but you have to make sure that all the humans don't recognize that you're an alien, so you act so human. And so for me, that's what I did, and it's very draining. And so when I have a panic attack, she calls it in autism masking. I don't know if we use that word in bipolar. I haven't read it yet, but it is a good example. I'm not talking about how we wear masks and go to work and pretend we're fine. I'm talking about acting to perfection so that no one figures out what's going on. And so I had a panic attack, and my panic attacks, you would not even know. I have masked them so well that the way I know I'm having one is because I become lightheaded. And then when I become lightheaded, I go, oh, now I recognize. So here's the self-awareness. I'm having shortness of breath. It's really shallow, but it's through my nose. And I'm starting to panic. And then what I do, talk about triggers, I ask myself, why am I panicking? Okay, in this particular case, I was doing too many things at once, putting too much pressure on myself to get too much done in a particular amount of time. And this whole COVID thing, I'm finding that it's mentally draining. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit, Mr. Jones. I find mentally it's draining. So I reground myself. And self-talk is really important. Good self-talk. So self-awareness, noticing a thought and not judging it. Just, I'm feeling mad because. Okay. And just notice that. Don't judge it. Just let it be there. Don't react to it. I like the saying, respond, don't react. So my response is to go, I'm feeling this way. Why? Okay, so just let it be. And then I'm just reading from here. It's funny, everything that I just said, the book says. So, you're constantly noticing what is around you in the now moment. Let the anxiety pass. So again, in my opinion, the harder you fight your anxiety, the more intense it becomes. If you can just acknowledge it, then you can just take a second, and then you can ask yourself, is this a thought or a fact? Then you can respond by asking yourself, what do I need right now? So that's important. So what do I need? And I like what Mr. Jones said, which is to take a step back and just sit down. What do I need? And as corny as it sounds, just kind of close your eyes and do some deep breathing and reground yourself. And it sounds cheesy, but after you've went through that process, you can put your feet on the ground and you can close your eyes. You can say, I notice my feet on the ground. I notice my hands in my lap. I can feel like my hair on my face. Just real stuff. So that's one thing I wanted to cover. So I hope that this has been helpful. And I'm just gonna read from you a book by John C. Maxwell called How Successful People Win. So, why losses hurt so much? In life, sometimes you do win, but other times you get knocked down. The key is to figure out why you got knocked down, learn from it, get back up, and move forward. That's how successful people win. So, I've had a lot of get on the horse, fall off. Get on the horse, fall off. It doesn't freak me out anymore when I fall off the horse and I have to get back up, because life is not perfect and life is not an easy ride. It's more like this, right? And how you respond in how you respond and how you learn to have new thoughts. It's changing your perspective. Okay? So one perspective could be, we're all stuck inside and we don't have anyone to talk to. The other side is, I'm so grateful I'm not sick and that I have a place to live. And you know what? Don't think that I haven't been somewhere. I have had to be in a shelter at one time. And I have said I'm thankful that I have a place over my head. So it doesn't matter where you're at. It matters where you're going and where you want to go. So I'm gonna just finish there on that positive note. You're stronger than you are. And I will, send me some messages on what you want to talk about. I've got some relationship stuff that I want to share with you. So have yourself a good evening, and